Today, I just want to share a lot about ministry and stuff like that. One of the things I want to talk about is dealing with ministry skeptics. When you are doing ministry while surrounded by skeptics. At a certain juncture of my life, when I started ministry, I was surrounded by people who were older than me, people that had seen me grow up, seen most of my mistakes. And it was very difficult to do ministry because I was surrounded by skeptics. No matter what you do in your mother's house, you are a child. I was laughing with my wife the other time, and we were discussing how even when you become a doctor, a medical doctor, you've done your 7 years, you've done your studies, you've got your everything, and you are now a medical doctor. You may find yourself arguing with your mother about a good treatment method because to her, you are not a doctor, you are a child. And so familiarity breeds contempt, but beyond that, a prophet can never really function properly in their hometown, right? You cannot do that. But I want to talk about Jesus for a moment, and I want you to think about this for a moment. Jesus' brothers did not believe him. Even though he claimed to be the Son of God, even though their mother, Mary, told them about everything that happened, the immaculate birth and everything, his own brothers did not believe him. They mocked him as well. Many times in scripture, they mocked him. And after walking on water, after healing people, after turning water into wine, after feeding 12,000 people, after all of that stuff, they still didn't believe him. Did you know? Can you imagine being that gifted, being that called, being God, walking among men as God, and your own brothers think you're tripping? In fact, James only believed Jesus, right? The second born of Mary. He only believed Jesus when Jesus came to him after the resurrection, because he saw him dead on the cross. He saw him nailed on the cross. The Bible tells us that James only genuinely became a believer when dude came back from the dead. When he saw a dead man walking, he's like, wait a minute. So you were telling the truth? That's crazy. Can you imagine the hardship of doing something with only your mama as a fan? People joke about this when we started social media, there was 1, 2 likes, sometimes 0 views. I have videos, incredible videos that I recorded 3, 4 years ago on YouTube that have 20, 10 views. And I still think this message is so relevant today, but nobody goes back the timeline, right? They watch only the most recent video. So that's great. But can you imagine doing ministry with only your wife as your fan or your mama as a fan? Only one person. We've done prayer meetings, me and my wife, where it was just the 2 of us. And she only came because she was in the car. I'm like, babe, it's prayer time. Let's go get in the car to go to church. And we drive to the church building, and it's just apologies. Muruti, I'm busy. I'm at work. I got back late and so forth and so forth. And we had to learn to pray, just the 2 of us. Ministry has wired me to think a certain type of way, because I used to think, when I see, okay, I have 60,000 followers on TikTok. Okay, I have 1,000 something followers on YouTube. I have 300,000. I have 3,000 views on this thing. I think, okay, no, that's great. But I have not forgotten the hardship of starting with 1 like, of 0 views. I have videos on TikTok with 0 views. I end up deleting them thinking, okay, something's wrong with this video, because I didn't know why. And it was not happening on Instagram. Same thing, 6,000 or so people. But to get to that point, people have to understand the hardship of doing something when only your mama is your only fan, and she has no choice. She gave birth to you, or your wife. She has no choice. She loved you. She chose you. And when nobody else is there to affirm, to see, to recognize the gifting that you have, knowing that you are gifted, knowing that you are blessed, knowing that you have all of that stuff, knowing that even though it was an incredibly, incredibly powerful prayer session, it was just the 2 of us in that room, in that entire building, a massive building hall on the stage, and you still get to pray like there's a lot of you, because it's the hardship of starting ministry when you are surrounded by skeptics. I think there's a grace to that. There's an incredible grace to that. And I want to tip my hat off to these incredible men and women of God that have started things when you are surrounded by nothing but skeptics.